Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold. It's funny how easily a life can be torn apart. Why couldn't I simply see that I was sick at heart and I am in deep debt? The climb we did was unreal. You made me so speechless. I just can't believe it. You broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was my own enemy, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold. I rise from the ashes with pins and patches. We carry on. I rise from the ashes. I heal from your passion. My doubts are gone. Oh, yeah. Felt impossible in my bones, like getting.
All right. Close the door here. Welcome, everyone. It's time to ready to rock and roll. So, if you're just joining me, tonight we're going to try something different. Something that we don't normally do. Something that we haven't done probably in about a year to a year and a half. And what we're going to do tonight is we are going to do calibration frames. And if you don't know what calibration frames are, is what we use to process our images. So we're going to go over each one individually. And good night, Kenzie. So we're going to go over everything individually here, so this way you'll see it. What I'm going to do actually is we can actually go and do... Hang on. That's the microscope one. We can use... trying to think which one I can use here. I didn't have time to really do this one. We can get rid of that here. Okay. We gotta move this over just a slight bit, just a hair. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Okay. So, we're not going to use any planetary programs tonight. We're not going to use any guiding. Nothing. This is going to be solely just using calibration frames. And I'm going to put up at the top what each frame is going to be and what we're going to be doing. So what we're going to do first is we're going to be using what's called flat frames. What flat frames are, and I've done episodes before where I've actually written it out, where you can see what each one is. So we're going to put flat frames up at the top there. We are going to add milliseconds, I think. Actually, we could do one better here. We'll do one better. I can actually show you here my whole screen. We could see the sky capture to the whole screen. Okay? Alright. And then here's what we can do. We can show you the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen, and we can go from there. Of course, granted, I don't have time for any for doing any of this, but here, we could do it this way. Okay, here we go. This way you'll see what the gain is. Here we go. And then we'll go to the bottom. If I had this planned a little bit better, but that's okay. 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 So just give me a second as we are just getting ourselves acclimated here. Hey there, Andy. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. So now we have the whole screen here. So now we'll be able to see everything up front. Okay? I know this is not the greatest in the entire world, but at least we'll get to see it. So this is good. This is perfect. Okay. Okay. Now, is this great? No, not at all. But, hey, welcome, Genghis. Okay. So here we go. So we have live view of doing a flat frame. Now, how we do a flat frame is we have my telescope pointing at what's called an artist sketchboard. And what the artist sketchboard does is you will shoot at a flat surface that's lit up. So you can see here that I have, it's at 1.25 gain, and we are shooting this at 33.435 seconds, or milliseconds. So you can see that it's a flat frame from left to right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 70 of these. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to sequence these, and these are going to go rapid fire. Now, this is shooting at luminance right now. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what we're doing is this is going to eliminate the dust motes. Okay? So we are shooting these at rapid fire. And now what I can do is after it's shooting the... I'm going to probably take 30. I got 70, but I'm going to take about 30. But each one of these is 33.5 seconds. Milliseconds. And there's a little bit of banding on here. I don't like the banding, so we took 20. Hang on, let me take a look here. I don't like the banding on here. Trying to get rid of the banding. Banding is that you'll see lines across the screen from left to right. So if I were to take this and then shoot this at, say, 36 milliseconds, you're going to see the lines. Notice the lines? We do not want the lines at all, because this is going to make the image look like junk. So we got to find the sweet spot. So this one looks to be okay. This is 33.3. But if we go too little, the lines come back. You notice that. So we got to get that absolute sweet spot where these lines disappear. So that's what I'm trying to find, is I'm getting that absolute sweet spot where these lines go away, and we're going to be in good shape. Because ultimately, what you want is you want to get your histogram. So if I were to scroll this down, okay? So if you see the histogram, which is on the left-hand side, you want that histogram to be dead center in the middle. 125 is your middle. That's where you want. So naturally, if I were to take this and were to move this across, so if I were to do this here, the histogram's going to move, and I don't want the histogram to move too much off of the center. So what we're doing is we are trying to get this right in the middle, but also not try to get the lines at the same time. Right about here seems to be perfect, right here. Oh, and that's not too bad. Right about there is perfect. Because you can see there's the histogram right there. So that's actually perfect. Now what I can do is I can stretch this. So I could take one of these images here, and we can stretch this. At least I think we can anyways. Oh, maybe not. You can't. How come you can't? Should be able to. Oh, because I gotta go up to here to curves. Duh. So you can see the lines still. But you're seeing the dust motes, and that's what I want. I want these dust motes to pop out, and that's what I'm getting. And that's what I want. But we want to get rid of that line. So let's see here. Alright, let's see what this one does. So does that make sense to everyone? Like where you could see that? So we're just getting it just centered here. Correct. This is for calibrating. So what happens is when you take the picture, you're noticing that when you see these, you're noticing that we have the dust motes all over the place. Well, instead of trying to blow out the dust motes and trying to get this just right, doing this will completely eliminate that dust motes. And that's what I want. Try this one. Alright, so then we gotta go backwards. We're finding a sweet spot here, and I think we got it. I think we found the sweet spot where there's no lines. That should be perfect right there. Okay, cool. Alright, so we got it. Now we're going to take a whole bunch of these. I want to make sure. I mean, it's picking up some good dust motes, which is good. Alright, so we're going to close all of these but that one, so no to all. Get rid of all of those. Alright, close that one out. We don't need that one. Alright, perfect. Okie dokie. Alright. Alright, perfect. Now we'll take about 30. And go. Alright. Perfect. Alright, so we're taking 30 of these. And again, these are the flat frames. Hey, Gary. Hey, Genghis. So again, what these are going to do is this is going to eliminate the dust motes. Alright, so we took these. So again, we're taking 30 of these. one after another here. And again, while it's taking these, you can see the histogram is right where I want it to be, at about 115 to 120. That's where the middle of the histogram is while it's taking these images. So it's shooting it straight at that board. Alright, so it is done. We took the 30. That is set. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and we are going to use what's called dark frames. Okay, so now the dark frames we are going to use is we're going to put the cap on the telescope. Okay, so give me 1 second. We're going to put the cap on the telescope. We are going to do that, so give me 1 second here. Alright, so give me 1 second. We're going to go do this here. Alright, we're going to go put the cap on it. And we're going to turn off the flat frame. The artist's sketch. Alright. Making our way out. Oh boy. Alright, here we go. Okay. Alright, so now next one, dark frames. So now with the dark frames, we have the cap on the telescope right now. So what that's going to do is we are going to take the same exposure on this. Now what we're doing is we're doing each filter. Okay? So we are going to change the filter to red. Okay? So we've changed it to red. We're going to do the same, which we had it as 5.14. Okay. We did 3-minute exposures. Hey, Uncle Bill. So we're going to do 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to take 5 of them. And go. So what this is going to do with dark frames is this will get rid of all the electronic noise from the camera. So in other words, the camera's going to have a readout noise. So this will eliminate that from the thermal heat from the camera. As you have to take these in order to do that. So we are taking these right now. We're going to do 3-minute exposures at 3 minutes, at 3 exposures at 3 minutes apiece is what we have. So actually, here's what we can do. Now that we have that, we can actually take this one down because now we don't need the micrometers anymore. The microseconds, so we don't need that anymore. So we can get rid of that and we can get rid of that. Okay, and then we can get this one back. There we go. And then we can do the filter here. There we go. So now you can see that it's under red. Now granted, I'm not going to have the... hey, Anna. I mean, if it wants to make everybody feel complete, I can pull up the other stuff here just to make everybody feel better. Here. Make everybody feel better. There we go. So at least the screen feels full, I guess. Okay, so we're taking dark frames as we speak right now. And again, the dark frames, what this is going to do is we're going to get rid of the electronic noise from the camera so that it'll subtract it. It's called dark subtraction. And we'll have a more crisp image. So what we did was when we pulled up Deep Sky Stacker in Photoshop, it looked kind of grainy, it looked kind of ugh, and then you had dust motes and it just looked like garbage. These calibration frames are going to change that, and we're going to change it completely. And it's going to be a nice smooth, flat image. It's going to look nice. And that's ultimately what we want to do. So we are just in the midst of getting this ready. Again, I didn't have any time to prepare for this, so I didn't have any folders or files or anything. I had no time to do anything here. So bear with me. We're just getting everything together here. Alright, so the first image is done. And as you're going to notice, surprise, surprise, it's a black image. That's what it's going to be. And that's what the dark frame's going to do. Is it's going to be dark. That's what you want. You're going to have the readout noise. So if I were to take this and adjust it, and adjust the curves and bring this all the way up, you're going to start to see thermal noise. And that's what this is. Okay? This is your thermal noise. Right here. That's it. Okay? That's your thermal noise. That's taking the histogram and turning it all the way up. And then with the lens cap on the front of the telescope. So I'm going to take 3 of these. Okay? Then we're going to flip the filter and go to green. Take 3 more. Flip it to blue. Take 3 more. So this is going to be a while, but I just want to show you guys what this will do and how this will be able to look at the image and go, makes sense. And I'll show everyone how that works to put it into Deep Sky Stacker, which we'll be doing momentarily. So this is going to take a little bit. It's going to take a little bit. But when it's nasty outside and raining and clouding and just, yeah, it's just terrible. I just said clouding, by the way, yes. But we'll be able to see everything here. So that is what it looks like for that. And we're going to go back. Okay. Here we go. And you can see all the hot and cold pixels. You can see all that. That's going to go away. Which is perfect. Now the only problem is if I'm going to be doing this live, I'm going to be saving these images, which is going to probably take up a lot of the processor speed, so we'll see what happens. We should be okay. And I will have to organize all of this because we're going to be doing different exposure times. We're going to be doing different gain. everything. The whole ball game is going to change now, where I'm going to be doing all of this. I will probably spend 3 to 6 hours just going through every calibration frame, because that is the most important thing you can do when it comes to astrophotography. You have to make sure that you have the right exposure time, the right focus, the right everything. Because once you change that, everything changes. Why would the color filter matter with the dark frame? Because what happens is it will have a different thermoelectric noise. So in other words, if I take it 3 minutes through the filter, you're going to see a different pattern. You'll see, trust me. When I take this image, okay, I'm taking these 3 at red. You're going to see if I change the histogram, okay, then if I change it to green, if you watch, I change the histogram, it's going to be different. The red and blue are going to be darker than the green. Does that make sense? So I have to do flat frames on every single one of them. Dark frames on every single one of them. Bias frames for every single one of them. So this is why monochrome is a pain in the ass. Because monochrome is you have to take images in red, green, blue. And then you have to take the calibration frames for red, green, and blue. So to see an image, it would take you probably 3 or 4 hours to get. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take preset ones. I am not going to take my... Because here's how you're supposed to do it, technically. You go, you look at an object, right? You see the object, great. Then what you do is, then when you're closing up for the night, then you're supposed to take the telescope, move it over, and then you're supposed to look at the screen, like the flat frame screen. Take your flats, take your darks, take your biases, close up for the night, and then you're done. Now, here's the thing. It's even worse with a DSLR, because with a CCD camera like what we're using, which is the Mi DSi-4, the Mi DSi-4 can stay at a constant temperature all the time. I can set that temperature. If I want to set it at 13 degrees, I can set it at 13. If I want to set it at 30, I can set it at 30. The problem is with a DSLR, you can't set that temperature. So if you're taking images when it's like 95 degrees outside, now keep in mind with a DSLR, which is your digital camera, you take a picture at that digital camera, it's always going to be about 20 to 25 degrees above the ambient temperature. So that means your camera is going to be running at about 120 degrees, that sensor. Versus you doing it in the winter when it's going to be like 30 degrees, which means your sensor's only going to be at 50. See what I'm saying? So those flats, biases, darks won't work compared to a CCD camera. CCD camera, you can set the temperature year round. So we can take these, set the camera, and then it'll be fine. So we're on number 2 right now, because this was 1, this is 2. And again, you don't see much, but if I scroll, if I zoom in, these are all hot and cold pixels. You see that? This is what we want. This is everything we want right now. We want to see as many of these little dots as possible. Because then on an actual image, when we stack them, these little dots go away. So these are not stars by any means. They're not stars. Because these will subtract them. If they show up in the same spot in every single one of them, then we're golden. You see they're here too. So if I were to go over here, this is at 1740, 1660. Okay, 1740. Right here. There you go. It's the same. There's 1. There's 2. They're the same. I just moved it over. I have to move this one over here. There we go. There we go. There we go. See? This is perfect. This will use the dark frame subtraction, which is what I want. Okay, so that's perfect. So we're on our third one in red, and then we're going to do our blues next, or greens next. I know it sounds confusing and it sounds weird, but monochrome can be a pain in the butt. And trust me, I've been meaning to do this for a very, very long time. I wanted to get this done. But you can see how much of a pain in the ass it is. But these are how we get these beautiful images. Now, what we did was last time we did the whirlpool. And how we combined the red, the green, the blue, put it together, got a colored image, but this will take it the next step further. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this third one, and then we're going to do what's called bias frames. Okay. So bias frames are going to be coming up soon here. I just want to see how much longer do we have here. Alright, so we got two more to go. We're taking, we'll probably take 3 actually, because we don't need to take 5 right now. 3 should be fine. 1, 2, 3. We got 4 so far, so yeah, we might as well take 1 more. Screw it. I'll take 1 more. Screw it. Alright, so we'll go back this way here. Okay, perfect. So we got about a minute and a half left on this one, and then we'll move to bias frames. So while we're waiting for the other one here, I'm going to read a little bit about each one, so this way I can put it in perspective, okay? Flat frames is what we did in the first place, is that for flat frames, they help for light pollution. Is that true? No. Flat frames allow you to calculate the correction factor for each pixel so that they will give you the same value when it's exposed to the same quality of light for a given optical path. Things like dust motes, lens vignetting, consistently reduce the light given to a pixel. Flat frames allow you to mathematically remove them to give you a smooth, evenly illuminated image. That's a flat frame. Your dark frames, when taking a dark, long exposure, light frame, the exposure, the chip will introduce thermal noise. Its level is magnified by 3 things: temperature, exposure, and ISO. Well, of course, ISO we don't have to worry about because we're doing this with a CCD camera. Now the dark frames are used to subtract the sensor noise from your image and mitigate hot or cold pixels. That's where if I were to zoom in on this, you will see these dots. Now of course naturally you won't see color because this is a monochrome camera. Okay. Some modern sensors automatically calculate dark levels and don't need dark frames. Well, this one I don't have, unfortunately. They'll calculate the levels, and the dark frames also will calibrate chip, so all pixels give the same value when not exposed to light. So that's what I'm doing here for these ones. So now, the next one we're going to do is what's called bias frames. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save these. Okay, so we're going to save these as flat. Okay, go. Should save these very quickly because I'm not running 6 programs at the same time. So this should go through very, very, very fast. At least I think so anyways. Because we took 35 images. So while it's saving, we're going to go over with the next thing, what's called bias frames. So your camera inherently has a base level of readout noise as it reads the values of each pixel of the sensor. They're called bias frames. When averaged out, basically it's an inherent gradient to the sensor. Bias frames are meant to capture this so it can be removed. What that just means is that we're going to take this image, these next few images, at the fastest speed it can possibly go. So not only are we taking the dark frames, which is the same exposure and time and temperature and everything, but we're also going to do the bias frames, which is going to be the fastest. Then we're doing the flat frames to create an even image. Now there are other ones out there, which is called the dark flat frame. But the dark flat frame, they're just for the flats. You don't really need them depending on what you're using, as in for software. So it's not a huge deal, but that's up to the individual of how they want to use it. Okay. Now for settings and stuff in each type, we're gonna go over that in a minute. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go to this here, 328. Alright, so these are all my flat frames, which are saved. Perfect. And then we're going to take the last 5, and we're going to change these into the dark frames, so this way I don't lose them. And then we're going to label it as DARK. Perfect. Alright. Alright, perfect. So these are my dark frames. Okay. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, keep the gain exactly the same, but now we're going to take this as the fastest we can possibly do. And I think the fastest we can do, is 100 microseconds, or whatever the heck it's called. Alright, so there we go. And then we're going to take 11 of these and go. Range of 150 milliseconds. Oh, okay. There we go. Go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just whipping through these. It's so fast you can't even see the difference. That's how fast it's going. It's on 8, 9. So I'm just going to do as it's finishing, I'm going to put BIAS, bias frames. Or if you want to call it offset bias frames, either one. They work either way. So offset bias frames. So they're done. We just took 11. Super fast. Red channel. Done. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new folder. And we're going to put this, label it as red. This way we know we have them as red channel. Okay. Okay, so red is done. Alright, so red is done for those. So we've done our flats. Well, no, we didn't do our flats yet. We've done our darks, and we did our those. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it to green. Okay. We'll do flats in a minute. Okay, so now we're going to go to change to green. And of course, nothing's going to change. Okay, so we're going to go back to 3 minutes. Okay. And save these ones. Bias, B-I-A-S. And save, so it's going to save the 11 bias frames. It's confusing, but at the same time it makes total sense. Okay. So we're going to save these under the red folder. So that way they're done. Now red is done for those. We still have to do flats, but what we're going to do is we're going to swing around. Okay? So we're doing these ones first and then swinging around to the other side. Now what those flats that we took earlier, those flats were for luminance. And luminance is completely different. Okay? Luminance is what we'll use is for enhancement on images. Okay? Which we'll still need to use anyways, because that's a fourth filter that we have to use. Okay, I just wanted to show everybody what it would look like. Alright. So now we switched it to green. And go. So we'll take our 5 images here in green. But here's the good news, what we could do is we can show you, we could go to Deep Sky Stacker while we're taking the images. And I could show you what it does to the image. Okay? So we can flip this over. We can go to Deep Sky Stacker Live, which is right here. Alright. Alright, so we have the 3 images that we took that are in red. Okay? Alright, these are the images right here that are in red. Okay, of the whirlpool that we took last night. Okay. Perfect. So now we're going to add the dark frames that we just took just now. Alright. So we're going to go back to Sky Capture. We're going to go to Today. We're going to go to Red. We're going to go to Dark Frames. And then we're going to take the 5 and we're going to add the 5 dark frames right now. Okay, so now the 5 have been added. And then we're going to use what's called the offset bias frames. We're going to use those ones. Okay. We're going to go to Documents. Okay, Sky Capture. And I'll have it organized better, and everything's going to just look so much better, and we'll be in great shape. Okay, and then open. So now we have our bias frames, our dark frames, everything's all set. So now what we're going to do is we're going to register. Okay. We're going to hit OK and hit yes. So now it's going to use the images and then also add the offset bias frames and the dark frames to this. So we're just waiting for it to register and do a wonderful thing. So it's just a few minutes here. 'Cause now it's going to stack the three of them. Alright, so now it's saving the image now. And now what it's going to do is it's going to load it, and we're going to see what these calibration frames that we just took, what they're going to do to it. Alright, so here we go. So here comes the image now. We'll see if there's any difference. Now, the histogram looks a little bit bigger, so this is good. This actually looks a lot better. And what's going to happen is, when we do the flat frames, these dust motes are going to go away. So this is going to be a nice flat image that's going to look really, really good. This is actually a really good red image. You can see how there's no vignetting either. That's the best part. And that's what the dark frames and then the offset bias frames are doing, is that it's creating a nice image with no noise, which is what I want. And we'll get the flat frames very shortly, which is nice. We've already taken 2 so far of in green of the dark frames. So we're going to save this, okay, as M51 red, okay, and we're going to look at the difference between the two of them. I want to see the difference. One that has the calibration frames and one that does not. And then that's going to be the difference maker. That's what's going to show why it makes a huge bit of difference between the two of them. So now we have M51R and M51 red. Okay? So we're going to go to Photoshop next. Okay? Hang on, I'm just trying to get this set here. There we go. Alright, so Photoshop's up now. We're going to load the two images that we took, or that we just did now. Alright, so I have M51R, which is right here. That's this one here. And then M51 red. Look at the difference. So you're gonna notice the difference. The one on the right is the one that we did last night. It was just so grainy and so ugly and disgusting. And the one on the left is the one that we took now. And you can see the difference of what it did. It got rid of all of that grain and all that yuckiness. And that's what I want to show you. Is it does everything. It makes sure that you see granted there's still gonna be grain and still look, but you can see the difference, which makes all the difference in the world. So does that make sense? I hope it does to everyone. And of course, I'm not going to go through every single one of these and spend 4.5 hours and do all of these individually on the stream. That would take an eternity, and I don't want to do that to anyone. I don't want to spend all that time. I mean, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do it on stream. That's just insanity. But you can get an idea of what the difference is, if that makes any sense. I'll say we've taken 4 so far in green. And we're going to switch to blue after we do our offset frames here. And we should be in good shape. Does anybody have any questions out there? Hopefully, you guys see how it works. But as I said, like, one of the biggest confusions was, like, you know, do you have to take it for every filter? And the answer is yes. Yes, you do. Which is kind of poopy when it considers that it's monochrome. Now, here's another thing. If you have a colored camera, you don't have to do this for every single filter because it's only one filter. It's colored. So you don't have to worry about it. You just do it just based off of that, and then you're done. So that's why colored cameras are amazing. They're not as sensitive as a monochrome, but they work. I want to be able to just show everyone that this is what you can do. Yeah, I mean, it just looks so much better. What I'm going to do is we'll flip it back to this here. We're still taking dark frames. We are on number 5 right now. We got about a minute and 10 seconds left on the green one. We'll take bias frames on the green. Okay, we got that one there. Folder. We'll do the green. Okay. Another thing I want to show everyone. Actually, you want to know what? Here's what we can do. Okay? Yeah, I want to show you. Because Uncle Bill had that question of why do we have to take the dark frames on these ones. And here. So here is one image here. This is the green. Okay? We're going to adjust the curves. We're going to take this to the second box. Okay? So this is the second box. Okay, this is what you see for the thermal noise for the second box. Okay, now if I were to take the red one, which is this one here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to curves, and we're going to go to the second box. There. It's not that much of a difference, but it makes all the difference in the world. So you can see how it's a little bit darker with the red. That's why we do it. Because if I were to use the red with the green and blue, it's going to be confusing. Alright, so now we've taken 5. So now we're going to do a batch save. Okay, we're going to do dark G. So I know that these are dark green. Alright. Alright, now we're going to do... And now we're going to take our bias frames, which is going to be bias G. So these are going to be super fast images. These are going to go really quick. If I can spell today. Oh my god, I gotta go with the other side here. There we go. Calibratio. Calibration bias. And the calibration frames. Frames. Calibration frames. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we took our 11. Now we're going to save these ones as batch save. And then we're going to do these as bias G. Okay, save, done. Perfect. And now we're going to switch these to blue. Change. Alright, now we're taking blue. Alright, so it's going to take 5 of these. And we're doing these in blue.
If I could see you again, I don't know where to start.
I'm just looking at something here.
Fix every wound with this lone heart. I see that siren smile while I find a way to breathe. But the
Let's try this and see if this one works here.
shatter mine, I will be defeated.
Alright, so the first blue one is done. We're going to do the same thing by just going and doing the curves and taking out to the second one here. So again, not much of a difference, but when you're talking going to like there, that's the second right there. That is the second square. But when it comes to actually stacking these and processing them, that's going to be all the difference in the world right there for when it comes to the dark frame. So that's why. So I'm going to be doing this most of the night, so pretty much that is a wrap on calibration frames, as I just wanted to show everyone what dark frames, flat frames, bias frames, what they all entail, what the difference is, how you get to that point, what you have to do. It's tedious, but once you get it, you just use it, and then you get the great outcome, which is the great image. So I'll let a few songs play. You can watch me in the background if you want. I can let this run, and you get to watch me work in the background. So if it's up to you guys, it's up to you, Gary, it's up to you, Uncle Bill, Andy, whoever's watching. If you want to watch me, I'll let the music play for a little bit, and then we'll call it a night. So I'll come back on before we leave, but I'll let it just go for a little bit, jam out to some music, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye.
Got an ache inside of me. It's a deep hole where I bleed. Oh, can I seal it? You're like an ocean without land. Not a single grain of sand. I'm drifting on it. So cold yet warm. When you hold me, when you close, I know I'm a lost case, I'm a mess. But everything feels a little bit lighter with you. Something's letting me heal. You're making it brighter right through the gray. It's the last thing that I need. Wanna feel something that's real. With you I get that. You're like a lighthouse in a dream. Really distant but your beam is guiding me home. So cold yet warm. When you hold me, when you close, I know I'm a lost case, I'm a mess. But everything feels a little bit lighter with you. Something's letting me heal. You're making it brighter right through the gray.
The text on XO. My ace boom boom, no flex, no. I won't gas you up like petrol. Just trying to take you way up where the jets go. But you didn't notice that. Keep clocking all my hours, I told you that. Work now, play later. But you keep going off on me. Keep texting like it's all on me. Yeah, you're all in my head like you're my forever, not for right now. My day one, you hold me down. Hard cold like the wintertime. Fight for your love, can't slow me down. Don't go far. I take me and you, oh move and living large. Know I'll be there wherever you are. Cause you shine bright like a shooting star.
Everything feels a little bit lighter with you. Something's letting me heal. You're making it brighter right through the gray.
Your shadow stretching on the floor while the sun gets low. I got a feeling that the glow deep inside my core needs to breathe to flow. We push it right on through. I know you need it too, because we have been working hard right from the very start. Who knew we'd get this far? But now it's time for us to stay out until it's late. We've come a long, long way, so we deserve it, mate. Call it a day and celebrate. obstacles that we faced did ever slow us down. We knew we'd get here, went the extra mile in every race. We are duty bound. We push it right on through. I know you need it too, because we have been working hard right from the very start. Who knew we'd get this far? But now it's time for us to stay out until it's late. We've come a long, long way, so we deserve it, man. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. Let's celebrate. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. We give it our best, but sometimes we need to stop to see what we have assessed. I'm grateful about everything, because we have been working hard right from the very start. How we get this far? But now it's time for us to stay out until it's late. We've come a long, long way, so we deserve it, mate. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. Let's celebrate. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. When the lights are out and you stumble in the dark, you kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me to get you, don't forget to get you, to get you, don't forget to get you, to get you, don't forget to get you, to get you, don't forget to get you. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me to get you, don't forget to just call on me to get you, don't forget to just call on me to get you, don't forget to get you, to get you, don't forget to just call on me, baby, I'll be there. Just call on me, baby, swear that I'll be there. I'll just call on me, baby, I'll be there. I'll be there. Call me, baby, swear that I'll be there. And so remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you. When life throws lemons, just call on me.
is beating to your drum. And I'm blinded by the sunshine in your eyes. Not thinking twice, am I this dumb? Although I know you're all I want. How could I crave something so bad? My sweaty palms reveal a warning I should hear. But I don't care, you drive me mad. I'll ignore the truth and run to you. So we could drive away. You'll hear me say everything is gonna be okay. I don't need nobody else. Obsessed with you, trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. Can't help myself. You know too well I need you close. Can't help myself. Trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. Can't help myself. Trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. And suddenly I'm by your side. 'Cause I'm out of things to explain how I feel. It's better to enjoy the ride. I feel at home, never alone. My friends are asking me if I've left the planet 'cause I seem high all the time. They think I'm in a film noir, but my impression is that I'm in heaven. So we could drive away. You'll hear me say everything is gonna be okay. I don't need nobody else. Obsessed with you, trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. Can't help myself. You know too well I need you close. Can't help myself. Trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. Can't help myself. Trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. Can't help myself. Trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. Did someone put something in my drink? The world is spinning in my head. When you hold me, it feels so soothing. You're like a story I know so well. Can't help myself. You know too well I need you close. Can't help myself. I need you. Trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell. Can't help myself. Can't help myself. Can't help myself. Can't help myself. Trying to stop me, but I'm under your spell.
somewhere deep in my mind. See the barbed wire, the place is grown all wide. 'Cause I don't know if it'll be enough, or if they really care. There's a stairway down for the both of us, but let's not go there. You got me thinking, whoa, I don't know how we got here. Oh my, I think we better run. We ought to leave this place tonight, I'm telling you. Pack up your suitcase, we'll find a new place. We'll cross the border, can't stay no longer in this town. Somehow in this small place, minds begin to shrink when everyone is too fake. Your hope eventually sinks, 'cause I don't know if it'll be enough, or if there's a way out. There's a stairway down for the both of us, but I won't have it. You got me thinking, whoa, I don't know how we got here. Oh my, I think we better run. We ought to leave this place tonight, I'm telling you. Pack up your suitcase, we'll find a new place. We'll cross the border, can't stay no longer in this town. I don't wanna waste no time, feel it coming now, it's a sign. Never felt like this in my life, not waiting a minute, awaken my spirit now. You got me thinking, whoa, I don't know how we got here. Oh my, I think we better run. We ought to leave this place tonight, I'm telling you. Pack up your suitcase, we'll find a new place. We'll cross the border, can't stay no longer in this town.
Alright. Got our flat frames, got our bias frames, and our dark frames. We got everything that we needed for tonight. Figured you'd come on the journey with me, which is always so fun. Super awesome. We just organized them, getting set and everything, and we'll be using them for future sessions, which is nice. So, we've been on for about 2 hours, which is great, and we're gonna call it a night. Let me see if I got that. Just putting the folders in the right spot, getting everything together. I'll let a couple songs play out, but we are just about done. But don't fret, tomorrow night is going to be clear. So tomorrow night, right around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be live and ready and rearing to go. So if there's anything that you guys have for objects, anything that you guys are looking for in the night sky, please let me know. You most certainly can visit me on Twitter, Discord. You can visit me on Instagram. Pretty much anywhere, which is great. I did a preliminary image just to see what it looks like without the dust motes in there, and just to take a look at the red, and it actually looks really good without the dust motes. We'll flip it over here. We'll show you. This is just a preliminary shot, just to take a look. It's not perfect by any means. It's not great, but it is a start, which is what I want. So here you go. I did nothing to change anything over. So if you see here, the dust motes are gone. Which means it worked. So the flat frames worked. It is ready to go. It is set. There are some lines and everything that we will be able to process it out, get everything together, but for the most part, it is looking good. So calibration frames are in, and we are rolling. So definitely very happy about that. I can change it a little bit, get a little bit darker there. There we go, that's much better. Oh yeah, that's much, much, much better. Okay. And again, this is just one channel. This is the red channel right here. So we'll be able to do red, green, and blue, be able to get them all together, and without any dust motes or anything, this is going to look fantastic. So super, super excited on how this is going to look. We'll be able to get this all taken care of. So, yeah. I'm happy. So like I said, we're going to let a couple songs play out. As I said, for tomorrow, I'm going to post on Discord, see if there's any objects out there that you guys want me to get. Anything in the eastern part, I'll be more than happy to do that, or northern part. I could try the western part. I'm all for it. We got a new lens coming for the wide field, should be here sometime later this week. We got 2 new filters that should be coming in the next week or so. Should be able to put a filter on that lens, so that's in the works also. And now that we have calibration frames, we should be in good shape. So again, like, I'm going to play a couple songs. Thank you guys for coming on in, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye.
master the art. And the thing is that these scars are scary, but they are just some old scars. We should never be afraid of them. You and I know when we are too far apart, everything just falls apart. So I just close my eyes and dream about our kids and how they're running around. Won't you come and lay down next to me? Close your eyes and we'll be free. Let's make a run together, I'll be by your side before we collide. And if the sky falls down on you, just beat it up before we collide. Let's make it last forever, I'm ready to fly before we collide. And when the sun don't shine on you, just heat it up before we collide. Let's make a run together, I'll be by your side before we collide. And if the sky falls down on you, just beat it up before we collide. Let's make it last forever, I'm ready to fly before we collide. And when the sun don't shine on you, just heat it up before we collide. Barely 7 weeks